All right, boys and girls, this one's going to be a rough one for me to tell you because this was the final battle with my brother Eddie. This was the battle to end all battles, and you could think of it as the day my brother tried to finally kill me, and I was saved by a World War II veteran, or you can give it plenty of other names, guns, knives, and chaos, but. Here goes. Eddie and I were like Cain and Abel. I was always 2 years younger than him from these chaos childhood stories, and I never could catch up to him and defeat him because he was always bigger and stronger than me until I hit the age of 17 and he was 19. And then all of the rage and the pain and the hatred came out. We had years of rivalry. And what happened this time was really, phew, it started going down the basement stairs. I had asked my brother to take a large sofa down the basement stairs that I've told you about already. Well, I should have not bothered him until he was ready to help me because what happened was he turned around and then started taking it down the steep stairs with me. And the next thing, it got stuck on the stairs. So he just let it go. He released it and it fell down the stairs, this huge sofa that had a lot of wooden splinters on it, and it ripped into my hand. And I let out this flaming banshee scream. I said, I'll just, I'll kill you. And I charged up the basement stairs and laid right into him. And then we tumbled out of the stairs into the breezeway outside on the concrete steps between the garage and the house. And at that point, uh, he had this cigarette in his mouth and he was there. Come on, you can't do anything. I can't stand you. I said, I can't stand you. That was the tamest translation of it. And we went at it. Hammer and tongs, the battle we trained for. I took a slap at his face and knocked this split cigarette out of his mouth, tumbling in a pinwheel of ashes and sparks. And that was it. The show was on. We started fighting like 17 years of pent up rage. And the next thing you know, we stumble out into the backyard where we had that famous swimming pool that exploded, but it was still up at the time, or a new one was up. And we just started punching, kicking, scratching, screaming, the hardest hitting fight that ever happened between us. And I started to win. I was so goddamn mad that I grabbed his head under my arm and took his skull and ran him under my arm right into the metal post of the swimming pool and clanged his head, knocked him flat on the ground where we used to walk one of our dogs. So the dog crap was soiled all over the place. Seems to be a recurring theme in my stories. And I get on top of him and I'm wailing him. I'm just wailing him. I'm banging his head in the dog crap and I'm kneeling on his chest and I'm gonna finish him. I'm going for it. And as we're doing this, he I lose my nerve, at the point where your rage starts to subside. I asked him, I said, listen, Eddie, just if I let you up, will you stop? Fighting, we'll stop, we'll just call it over, let's stop. And he just wouldn't say a word. He just looked at me with this crazy gleam, like the guy on the knife blade that has the blood on it, like that. And what he did was he said, get off me, get off me. So I stupidly lost all my adrenaline and let him up. Bad move. He stood up and the first thing he did was kick my head. I'm sitting on the ground now thinking that he's going to stop. And he kicked me in the face and just knocked me backwards. My nose is bleeding. I'm dazed and confused. And he just runs into the house for some reason. I don't know. I'm dazed. Okay. And the next thing, this is where the knife comes out. Now, I mentioned in the title that there is a butcher knife involved, and he goes in and gets this knife out of the kitchen. And my mother was home alone, and there was just a family friend who, luckily for me, was a World War II paratrooper. This guy hadn't fought anybody in 25 years, but he knew how to fight. And if he didn't, I would have been dead because 30 seconds after he disappeared, and I'm still sitting there bleeding on the ground with blood coming out of my nose and just dazed, right? The next thing I see is him, my brother, and the World War II vet right on him, crashing through the glass storm door that leads outside. Now, I mean, Eddie's got his neck being held by the paratrooper behind him in a business suit, like a casual suit. He was just a guest, and he's got the other hand wrapped around my brother's hand with this huge, the biggest knife we had in the house. It was a 12-inch butcher knife. And they crashed through the glass and broke. My brother got cuts all over his arm and stuff. And I'm there like I'm seeing my life pass before me because I know he's going to kill me. But if thank God for that World War II paratrooper who knew how to fight. He had him in a sort of a chokehold. And my mother yelled out to me, Johnny, get out of here, get out, get out. So she threw me some car keys of mine, and I escaped overnight and got off the premises. But that was the night, that was the afternoon that I never saw such a fight like that in my life. And I would have been, he would have stabbed me to death, but it didn't happen. So what it comes down to now is what happened afterwards. Afterwards, my brother and I'm very emotional about this because this fight I remember, even though it was over 50 years ago, it was yesterday, and it was just like the inspiration for all the childhood chaos stories, all the brutal battles where my brother pounded me and I fought back as best I could. It all came to a head on this. And then gradually we became friends. I mean, we could talk about it. We got over the sibling rivalry by some reason. And over 10 years ago, he finally passed away. So I can tell you now that I never thought we would be friends. Cain and Abel were known to everybody, these two. He was Cain with the murderous heart, like the blade with the look on him. And me, I was the terrified younger brother who was fighting for his life all the time. And then we became friends. We got along, and unfortunately, he passed away, and now there's nobody left. But here I am, 50 years later, telling a bunch of you guys out there in internet land processing this kind of stuff because when you get traumatized and terrorized to that extent, you never forget it. It leaves a real mark. And now I'm the most peaceful character you'll see. I've got my own little home with my own little wife and a couple of cats. But boy, when Eddie and I stalked each other, it was like nothing. I can't even, I get teary eyed even thinking about it. But that's what happens. You do get redemption. So, what I'd like to say is anybody out there who has any um, stories similar where they had psychotic fights with a sibling that just got so far out that somebody out there probably pulled a gun and killed somebody else. But I mean, I was gonna go. I still have the image of them tumbling through the glass door all cut up. and me running for my life with this butcher knife sticking out of the window with a bloody hand coming after me. So I hope you enjoy it, and please send me some feedback on what you think of how you survived whatever happened to you. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Thank you very much. Bye.